I'm a principal in a large urban district. My student body has about 1,100 students, and we're very diverse. We're a Title I school. The 1,100 students represent more than 40 countries and speak more than 40 languages. So that's one of the best things about my school. My staff is also diverse. They range in age, background experiences, cultural heritage, and it's just such a wonderful thing to have a school experience like this one. So, a few years ago, I attended a training and it was an all day session learning. And there was a PE representative who was one of the presenters. His name was Keith Kramer. And all throughout the 8 hour session, we were up and moving, we were engaging with one another. We had such an incredible experience of just being physically active. And I remember at the end of that session thinking to myself, all of the years that I have been a learner, whether it was from my K-12 experience, collegiate experience, or just learning in my role as a teacher and now as a principal, I thought, I don't think I've ever truly paid attention and been focused and engaged in learning ever. And so I realized right after that session that it was movement that did it for me. It was getting up and being physically active. And I thought to myself, as soon as that session ended, if this works for me, it has to work for our students. I want that for our kids. I wish that in the 20 years or more that I have been a learner in school, and in the almost 20 years that I've been a learner in my professional role, why hasn't physical activity been a part of that? So I immediately came back to my school. I reached out to our health and PE department and told them that I wanted to do something big. I wanted to make sure that movement wasn't just held to our physical education classes and that it wasn't just the sessions that our students have on the playground for physical activity in recess. And so the health and PE department worked with me over several months to craft what we called the 90-day plan movement edition. And so our goal was to make sure that we embedded as much movement in our building as possible within the first 90 days. We established 2 B3 multisensory movement labs, one for our K2 students and one for our 3-5 students, so that everything in those rooms were developmentally appropriate for our kids and would help to keep them engaged in physical activity and multisensory tasks. We also provided training for our staff on how to use the B3 labs, and we kicked off our school year with an awesome B3 training where the health and PE department came out and they talked with my staff and worked with my staff to make sure that they were ready to implement increase physical activity within their classrooms during the instructional day. We also provided them with all of the B3 task cards and resources that they could use in their classroom. And the final touch of what we did during this 90-day extreme makeover movement edition was to add active hallway decals. So all throughout the building, students and staff alike had access to different stickered decals that were waxed into our floors so that they could move, hop, jump, skip, cross the midline, and do so many different activities during transitions. You know, we always say that transitional time is instructional time lost, but not anymore, because movement is learning, it is instruction. Being physically active not only helps our kids have healthy bodies, but it gives them healthy minds, and it allows them to really have an opportunity to engage more and to be deeper thinkers in the classroom. And so I've got to tell you that there were some reservations in the beginning because I thought, what if the students are in the hallways transitioning and they're moving and it gets a little loud or it disrupts another classroom? But that quickly went away on the very first day of school. The students had no instruction of what to do with the active decals, and we wanted it that way. We wanted it to be organic. We wanted our students to come in and experience physical activity the way that they wanted to experience it. And it was absolute amazing. I could not believe it. The joy that I heard coming from our students was the best noise I've ever heard. It was not disruptive. It was not distracting. Our students loved being able to move throughout the hallways and really move throughout the hallways. Our staff was doing the active hallway decals as well, and so were our families. When families would come to lunch or they would visit our campus, anytime you would be in the hall, you would see adults doing the movement as well. And so all of these things really kicked off this movement escapade, I would say, in our school. And it brings me so much joy to see kids physically active. And the best part is our teachers are implementing our B3 task cards in the classroom. They do them whether they're doing virtual learning or if they're here in person, and it's just been amazing. This year we added the active sticker decals to the classrooms, and so now students don't even have to wait until they transition. They can use the decals as well as continue using those B3 task cards during instruction. We have teachers who have created their own B3 task cards. We also have teachers who have embedded movement into their instructional playlist for students. So students may be working on a core content class like math or reading, and throughout the process of their personalized learning experience, there are natural breaks within the playlist for our students to be able to get up and move around. I can't say enough how much this physical activity movement has changed our entire school environment. Our students are able to take home the learning of physical activity and do it with their families. Last year, when our students were on campus full time and they were using the B3 labs, it was remarkable to see the improvement in their behavior, their improvement with engagement in the classroom, and in fact, we had a 60% decrease in office referrals and suspensions last year. It honestly was one of the best things that I can say, because kids are moving, they're engaged, they don't need to get up and move around and possibly do what would be traditionally deemed as a misbehavior, because movement is a regular part of everything that they do. We even this year have started including Move It Wednesday challenges where all families are involved. Our families of students and our families of our staff. And our teachers and staff and our students and their families have these challenges where we compete on Wednesdays after hours to see who can move the most. And it's really just taken off like wildfire. And if I could say anything to any principal or educator out there that's watching this video, I highly encourage you to increase movement and mindfulness practices in your classrooms and in your building. It's an educational opportunity that you do not want to pass up. It has completely transformed the way that we do business in this school. It has improved our culture and really has just brought us together in a community that is focused on our health and well-being. And what's better than that? So please take advantage of any resource that you have available. Check out the B3 task cards. Really take this learning experience into increasing movement to heart, and let it change the way that you think. Let it change the way that you feel about what education should look like. Our kids deserve it, and so do you.